Wrestling legend Hulk Hogan has died at the age of 71.
The world is still reeling from the sudden and heartbreaking death of wrestling icon Hulk Hogan. But now, a new wave of emotion has surged online as never-before-seen footage from his final moments begins to circulate. The viral clip, reportedly taken just hours before his tragic cardiac arrest, shows Hogan in a surprisingly upbeat and engaged state, smiling, laughing, and even singing karaoke with his son, Nick. For millions of fans, the footage is more than just a video. It's a raw, unfiltered glimpse of a man who remained full of life, even as his body neared collapse. As social media reacts in waves of shock and sorrow, the clip is prompting many to reevaluate how sudden and devastating his loss truly was. Emergency response and a battle against time. On the morning of July 24, 2025, an urgent call shattered the calm of Clearwater Beach, Florida. At precisely 9:51 a.m., a frantic 911 call reported a cardiac emergency at the home of Terry Jean Bollea, better known to millions as Hulk Hogan. Within minutes, paramedics arrived on the scene, their sirens cutting through the peaceful neighborhood at 9:56 a.m. They were soon followed by officers from the Clearwater Police Department who reached the residence by 10:23 a.m. What unfolded next was a tense and heart-wrenching race against the clock. Medical professionals faced a daunting task: to revive a man whose body, long celebrated for its strength and endurance, was now under siege from a sudden, invisible enemy. For decades, Hogan had endured some of the most punishing physical tolls wrestling had to offer. His chest had absorbed countless brutal impacts from opponents' signature moves, yet here he was, his heart fighting its final, most critical battle. Emergency responders worked relentlessly, performing CPR with all the skill and urgency they could muster. For 30 agonizing minutes, they battled to keep Hogan's heart beating, desperately hoping to pull him back from the brink. The atmosphere was thick with tension and hope, not just for the paramedics on the scene, but for the wrestling community and fans worldwide who held him as a larger-than-life figure. Yet, despite their best efforts, tragedy struck. At 11:17 a.m., Hogan was pronounced dead at Morton Plant Hospital. The official cause of death: sudden cardiac arrest. The man who had once seemed invincible in the ring was gone, leaving a void that no words could fill. Understanding sudden cardiac arrest. An unseen enemy. Sudden cardiac arrest is a silent killer, and its unpredictable nature makes it particularly terrifying. Dr. Syed Khaja, a respected cardiac electrophysiologist unaffiliated with Hogan's care, shed light on the medical reality behind this tragic event. Sudden cardiac arrest can strike anyone at any moment, he explained. It's when the heart unexpectedly stops beating properly, leading to a loss of blood flow to the brain and vital organs. Someone can be perfectly healthy 1 second and collapse the next. Dr. Khaja emphasized how this condition spares no one, whether it's an elite athlete performing at peak physical condition or someone resting peacefully in their sleep. It's the ultimate silent enemy, he said, because it doesn't give you warning signs, making it so devastating when it occurs. For Hogan, a man whose physical prowess had defined him for decades, this invisible adversary was the cruel force that ended his life. The shockwaves from his sudden passing rippled far beyond the wrestling world, touching fans, friends, and family alike with sorrow and disbelief. Clearing the air. No foul play suspected. In the immediate aftermath of Hulk Hogan's passing, rumors and speculation quickly began to circulate, as often happens when a public figure dies suddenly. To address the growing concerns, Clearwater Police Major Nate Burnside stepped forward to provide clarity and calm. He firmly stated, There are no signs of foul play or suspicious activity related to this incident. The police department launched a standard death investigation, which is routine for cases involving sudden deaths, but emphasized that there was nothing to suggest criminal involvement. This official statement played a crucial role in reassuring both Hogan's fans and the wider community. In moments like these, speculation can sometimes overshadow the truth, leading to unnecessary fear and confusion. Major Burnside's words helped refocus attention on celebrating Hogan's life and legacy rather than fueling baseless conspiracy theories. Ultimately, this situation highlighted a sobering reality. Even the strongest and most larger-than-life individuals can be unexpectedly overcome by forces beyond their control. Hogan's death was a reminder that human vulnerability transcends fame and physical strength, underscoring the fragile nature of life itself. Rumors and reality. The storm before the storm. Long before that fateful day, whispers about Hogan's health had been circulating quietly, and not all were mere speculation. These murmurs came from people close to him, creating a swirl of concern. Bubba the Love Sponge, a radio personality with a tumultuous past linked to Hogan, including their infamous sex tape scandal, became a controversial voice in this narrative. Bubba claimed to possess reliable information that Hogan's family was being called to Clearwater to say their final goodbyes. His co-host, Lumpy, reinforced the bleak picture, implying Hogan's condition was dire and that he was hospitalized in an undisclosed location. These revelations sent ripples through the fan base, stirring anxiety and sorrow over the wrestling legend's well-being. Yet, for all the rumors, Hogan's closest allies fought back with a united front. His wife, Sky Daly, took to Instagram in early July 2025. Her words a blend of frustration and love. She denied the claims that Hogan was in a coma or suffering brain damage, firmly stating that his heart was strong. Her message revealed not just a desire to correct misinformation, but the painful challenge of protecting a loved one's dignity amid swirling rumors. Adding further reassurance was a heartfelt message from Hogan's longtime friend and manager, Jimmy Hart. Just 2 days before Hogan's passing, Hart shared memories of seeing Hogan vibrant and engaged, even attending a karaoke event with his son Nick the night prior. Hart described him as doing phenomenal, a stark contrast to the somber rumors that would soon come true. The sudden deterioration, occurring seemingly overnight, underscored the unpredictable nature of the cardiac arrest that claimed his life. The physical toll of a legendary career. Hulk Hogan's career was about much more than showmanship and catchphrases. It was a testament to enduring pain and sacrifice. The man who performed in front of millions bore a body battered by decades of physical abuse. Hogan underwent over 25 major surgeries throughout his lifetime. These included 10 back operations alone, multiple replacements of both knees and hips, numerous shoulder surgeries, and procedures addressing injuries to his eyes and abdomen. Many of these were direct consequences of the relentless punishment wrestling imposed. In a candid September 2024 interview on the Impulsive podcast, Hogan peeled back the curtain on the harsh realities of the wrestling world when he began in the late 1970s. The rings back then were death traps, he said. 22-foot squares with lumps, nails, and boards sticking up everywhere. It was brutal, and it was just how things were done. Hogan's voice carried a mixture of nostalgia and regret, as he acknowledged that the equipment used in those days would be considered criminally unsafe by today's standards. "You just wrestled through the pain. Didn't have much choice," he admitted. "Now, years later, I'm paying the price for it every single day." His words reflected a harsh truth, often hidden behind the bright lights and roaring crowds. the physical cost of greatness is immense and unforgiving. The final chapter, major neck surgery and its aftermath. In May 2025, just a few months before the world said goodbye to Hulk Hogan, he underwent a significant and challenging medical procedure, a 4-level anterior cervical discectomy and fusion. This complex spinal surgery was intended to relieve the chronic neck pain that had plagued him for years, a pain that was the legacy of decades spent enduring brutal matches and relentless physical punishment in the wrestling ring. Such a surgery is no small feat. It involves removing damaged discs and fusing several vertebrae in the neck to stabilize the spine and reduce nerve irritation. Initial reports from the procedure were cautiously optimistic. Medical professionals suggested that the surgery had gone well, and Hogan was expected to begin the long road of recovery. Yet, the timing of this major operation, so close to his passing, invites reflection and concern. Could the stress and physical toll of such an invasive surgery have placed additional strain on Hogan's heart? Did the surgery weaken his resilience, setting the stage for the sudden cardiac arrest that claimed his life only months later? These questions remain unanswered, but they underscore the fragility of a man who, despite his legendary persona, was facing battles far beyond the wrestling ring. Hogan's body, a symbol of strength and endurance for decades, had been worn down not only by his career, but by the medical interventions meant to save him. This final surgery was both a testament to his ongoing struggle and a poignant reminder of the physical price he paid in pursuit of greatness. Family's final tribute, honoring a legend. In the wake of Hogan's death, his family offered a heartfelt statement on his official Instagram account, bringing a sense of dignity and closure amid the overwhelming sorrow. Their words read, "It is with a heavy heart and deep sadness that we confirm the loss of a legend. Our beloved Terry Bollea, known worldwide as Hulk Hogan, passed away today, surrounded by his loved ones." Knowing that Hogan spent his final moments surrounded by family provides a small measure of comfort to fans and loved ones alike. It speaks to the human side of a man who had become a larger-than-life figure, reminding us that beneath the iconic persona was a son, a father, and a husband, someone who cherished his family even as he battled pain and hardship. This tribute captures the duality of Hogan's life, a celebrated public figure whose influence touched millions, yet a man whose final chapter was marked by vulnerability, frailty, and the quiet presence of those closest to him. The tumultuous public fallout, wrestling's greatest idol unmasked. The public reaction to Hulk Hogan's scandal was swift, intense, and deeply personal for millions of fans who had once idolized him as the embodiment of American heroism and unwavering positivity. For decades, Hogan was more than a wrestler. He was a cultural icon who preached a gospel of training, prayers, and vitamins, a mantra that transcended wrestling to inspire everyday people. He was the living symbol of strength, perseverance, and the American dream, someone families rooted for, someone children looked up to as a paragon of virtue. Yet when the shocking audio from the 2007 sex tape leaked in 2015, revealing Hogan's racist remarks, it felt to many like a betrayal so profound that it shattered the mythos they had held onto. Fans who had celebrated his victories and rallied behind his catchphrases suddenly found themselves grappling with the dissonance between the man they revered and the man exposed. The contrast was stark, and wrestling events where Hogan appeared in the aftermath of the scandal were met with overwhelming hostility, including boos and jeers from audiences who once cheered his every move. This wasn't just disappointment, it was a fracture in the collective memory of a hero. Hogan's personal reckoning, a raw confession of pain and despair. The scandal didn't just shake the wrestling community, it devastated Hogan's personal life in ways he candidly revealed himself. In interviews after the fallout, Hogan described the period as the lowest point in his life. "My personal life was destroyed," he admitted openly. The tension, he said, was rooted in a painful domestic dispute involving his daughter and her boyfriend, a private conflict that he didn't know was being secretly recorded. "I had no idea I was being taped," Hogan said, exposing the raw vulnerability beneath his larger-than-life persona. Even more heartbreaking was his admission of suicidal thoughts in the wake of the scandal. Hogan recalled sitting alone in his bathroom, broken and overwhelmed by the weight of public shame and personal loss. "I was to the point where I wanted to kill myself," he confessed. "I sat in my bathroom by myself when my ex-wife was gone, and the kids were gone, and I was completely broken and destroyed." This moment of despair humanized a figure often seen only through the lens of spectacle, reminding the world that beneath the bravado was a man wrestling with profound pain. The sex tape scandal, privacy violated and lawsuit landmark. The origin of the racist remarks scandal was itself entwined in a separate, explosive controversy. The 2012 Gawker publication of excerpts from a sex tape involving Hogan and Heather Clem, the wife of radio host Bubba the Love Sponge. The tape was recorded without Hogan's knowledge or consent, making him a victim of what today would be considered revenge porn. Hogan's relationship with Heather Clem had been casual and social, with Hogan describing her as a friend he had seen a handful of times. The publication of the tape blindsided him and ignited a legal battle that would become a landmark case in privacy rights and media ethics. The lawsuit against Gawker culminated in a staggering $140 million judgment in compensatory and punitive damages, which sent ripples through the media industry about the limits of press freedom and individual privacy. The case led to Gawker's bankruptcy and closure, symbolizing a high-profile victory for Hogan, but also raising complicated questions about celebrity privacy. In an ironic twist, Bubba the Love Sponge, initially complicit in the tape's creation, expressed shock when the scandal blew up publicly, stating that had the tape remained private, Hogan's personal and professional life might never have unraveled so catastrophically. Hogan himself reflected, "Joke's on me," acknowledging the painful consequences of the incident. Other scandals and controversies, steroids, and on-screen mishaps. Hogan's life was also marked by other public scandals, including his 1994 admission during the Vince McMahon steroid trial that he had used anabolic steroids for over a decade. While this confession rocked the wrestling world, it did less to tarnish Hogan's image at the time, partly because steroid use was widespread in the industry. An incident in 1985 further complicated Hogan's reputation. During a live TV appearance with comedian Richard Belzer, Hogan's demonstration of a wrestling hold unintentionally rendered Belzer unconscious, leading to a head injury and a $5 million lawsuit. Although settled out of court, this mishap underscored the risks inherent in wrestling and its unpredictable dangers. Betrayal within the wrestling community. The unionization controversy. Perhaps one of the most damaging blows to Hogan's standing among peers was the revelation of his role in undermining efforts to unionize wrestlers in the 1980s. Jesse "The Body" Ventura, a fellow wrestling star and advocate for better working conditions, had been organizing talks to form a union that would protect wrestlers' rights. According to Ventura, Hogan informed Vince McMahon of these efforts, allowing McMahon to squash the movement before it could gain momentum. When Ventura discovered Hogan's betrayal in 1991, it caused deep resentment and fractured relationships within the wrestling community, a rift that lingered long after. The indelible professional legacy. Triumph amid turmoil. Despite the scandals and personal failings, Hulk Hogan's contributions to professional wrestling remain historic and transformative. As the face of WWE's expansion in the 1980s, Hogan headlined the first WrestleMania and 7 of the next 8, turning wrestling into a global spectacle. Iconic matches, such as his battle against Andre the Giant, captured the imagination of millions and elevated professional wrestling from a regional pastime to worldwide entertainment. Hogan's shocking heel turn in WCW as Hollywood Hogan and formation of the New World Order revitalized his career, dominating television ratings for 83 consecutive weeks and proving his ability to reinvent himself. His 2002 WWE return further cemented his legacy, with memorable bouts like the WrestleMania 18 clash against The Rock bridging generations and introducing new fans to his storied career. The complex legacy of Hulk Hogan, a life of contrasts. When Hulk Hogan passed on July 24, 2025, the world responded with a mixture of admiration and ambivalence, reflecting the complexity of his legacy. Tributes poured in from WWE, wrestling legends like Ric Flair, Triple H, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and even political figures such as Donald Trump, acknowledging his cultural impact. Yet public discourse remained polarized. While many celebrated Hogan's monumental achievements, others revisited his racist remarks, scandal, personal controversies, and political stances, refusing to overlook the darker chapters. Ultimately, understanding who Hulk Hogan really was means embracing the contradictions. The shy, disciplined boy from Tampa who became a global icon, the hero who inspired millions yet struggled with personal demons, a man whose story is as much about triumph as it is about human frailty. Terry Bollea's journey from a working-class neighborhood to the pinnacle of entertainment is a tale of complexity, resilience, and enduring influence, a legacy that continues to provoke reflection and debate long after his final match. We truly appreciate your support. Subscribe and be part of our journey.